Nobody likes pain. Nobody likes those moments that make us feel small, exposed, or wrong. Embarrassment hurts because it touches our self-image. It makes us want to hide fast. Failure feels personal at first. It can seem like proof that something is wrong with us, and criticism can sting even more, especially when it says something about us that we don't want to hear. But Ray Dalio makes a bold point here. Some of the most painful moments are also the most valuable. His famous formula is simple. Pain plus reflection equals progress. Not pain alone. Pain plus reflection. When failure hits, our first reaction is usually just pain. That part is natural. But the real turning point comes when we stop and look at it. Not just the hurt, but the message inside it. That's when pain stops being only punishment. It starts becoming information. The better question is not, why did this happen to me? The better question is, what is this trying to teach me? Most people stand at this exact crossroads. Escape, blame, shut down, or learn. Sometimes we distract ourselves right away. We reach for our phone because reflection feels harder than avoidance. Other times we blame someone else. That protects our pride, but it often blocks the lesson. And sometimes we just shut down completely. We go quiet, but we don't get wiser. Growth starts when we calm down enough to open the notebook. That's the moment reflection begins. Now the pain has somewhere useful to go. It starts turning into clarity instead of chaos. Unprocessed pain usually becomes bitterness, fear, or repetition. That's why some people keep living the same lesson again and again. Processed pain becomes wisdom. That one shift can change your whole future. That's why this formula is so powerful. It's simple, memorable, and brutally honest. Pain by itself does not improve you. Reflection is what transforms it. If a relationship failed, the mature question is, what did it reveal about my standards, boundaries, or blind spots? If a project collapsed, maybe it's showing you something about planning, discipline, or communication. If you burned out, that pain may be exposing weak boundaries. That's hard to admit, but useful to know. If you got blindsided, maybe the warning signs were there. Maybe you just didn't want to see them. A great reflection process can be this simple. What happened? Why? What did I miss? And what changes now? Those questions create movement. They turn pain into data you can actually use. But then we hit the real obstacle, ego. Ego tries to protect your self-image. It would rather feel right than get better. And that's dangerous, because the shield blocking unfair criticism may also block useful truth. This is where maturity begins. You start asking whether your self-protection is also blocking your growth. When feedback arrives, the first reaction is often tension. Your body gets defensive before your mind gets curious. That's why smart people can still stay stuck. Intelligence is not enough if ego is in charge. The key is to pause long enough to become curious, not fully convinced, just open enough to examine. A powerful question is any part of this true? That question keeps your pride from running the whole show. Dalio's bigger lesson here is about the difference between looking good and being good. A lot of people polish their image. They want to appear capable more than they want to become capable. But eventually reality exposes the gap. Image shines for a while, but skill carries the weight. That's why beginners need humility. Real growth begins when you open the toolbox and start working. Practice is usually less glamorous than performance. but it builds something much more solid. Quiet competence may look less impressive at first. In the long run, it wins. Now let's get practical with criticism. Not all criticism is true, but some of it definitely is. The smart response is not blind acceptance or blind rejection. It's calm examination. Pause. Look for truth. Check whether the same feedback keeps repeating, and ask whether the source is credible. Then do something mature. Throw away the noise and keep the useful part. Let's be honest. Most of us say we want feedback until feedback shows up wearing the ugly outfit called truth. That's when we suddenly become very busy or very defensive or mysteriously unavailable. But if you can laugh at that reaction, you can start weakening it. Humor helps pride loosen its grip. You don't have to enjoy the truth right away. You just have to stop slamming the door on it. A huge hidden advantage in life is not being fearless. It's being able to stay present during discomfort. That means hearing hard feedback without panicking. Staying calm long enough to learn something. It also means saying, "I don't know yet," without feeling humiliated. That is a real form of strength. And it means reviewing mistakes without turning them into self-hatred. Honest does not have to mean cruel. When new truth appears, adaptable people adjust. They don't worship the old version of themselves. That makes them stronger in a deeper way. Not louder, not prouder, just more flexible and real. So, here's the lesson from part 2. Pain is information. Reflection creates progress. Ego blocks learning. And truth becomes useful when you can face it. That mindset changes your temperament. You become less fragile and more teachable. But what happens when you try to build that kind of honesty into a group, a team, or a whole company? That's where Dalio gets more controversial. Because now we're talking about culture, not just personal growth. In the next part, we'll get into radical truth and radical transparency, and why some people see it as brilliant, while others see it as brutal. If part 2 was about learning to face painful truth inside yourself, part 3 is about what happens when everyone around you is expected to do the same.